And good Thursday morning to you, meteorologist Joey Sovine here at the Live 5 Alert Desk with the very latest on the tropics as things got very busy out there. We now have Gabrielle in the North Atlantic. Not worried about that. That's out to sea, moving in the North Atlantic towards the Azores. But we do have Humberto, now our 8th named storm of the hurricane season, and Imelda likely to form as we head into the weekend down towards the Bahamas. And that's the one we have to pay the closest attention to. Here's a look at the satellite imagery this morning. And Gabrielle is, there's the storm headed across the North Atlantic, so that's moving farther and farther away from the U.S. But right here we have Humberto, which looks to be really strengthening quickly this morning. And then this tropical wave right there near Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, that's the one that we have to watch closest because of its proximity it's going to have toward the southeastern coastline. Now, Humberto, the very latest from the National Hurricane Center, the winds at 45 miles per hour, moving to the northwest. We've seen a big blowup of storms associated near the center of this tropical storm this morning, which is a very good indicator that this is strengthening. And in fact, it is forecast to be a hurricane by later today or tomorrow. And then as we go into this weekend, perhaps become a major hurricane. Now, initially, this track looks a little ominous as it moves off to the west and northwest. We do expect late in the time frame, all indications are that this is going to be turning out and curving away from the U.S. The problem is that we have another storm system that is much farther to the west, so much closer to the U.S., and that also has a potential of becoming a tropical system over the next couple of days. In fact, the odds now up to 90% that once we get this disturbance into the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos over the next 24 to 48 hours, that this will become a tropical depression and eventually tropical storm Imelda. And the problem is that anything that develops in the Bahamas is just not a very long ways away from the South Carolina coastline. Looking at a storm system developing 500 miles away from us compared to storms that we saw develop well out in the ocean earlier this summer that developed thousands of miles out there, and we had a lot of time to watch it. So this is a much closer proximity storm system developing, and because of its closeness to the southeastern coast, we will have to watch it very closely as we go through the upcoming weekend. Now, here's the latest in the computer models. Once again, Humberto is likely to curve out to sea. You see that on the right side of your screen, but notice all of these lines now bunched up around the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos for the next couple of days, and then they come northward. Some come northward quicker and farther. Others kind of slow down south of our area and then just curve this out to sea. I won't discount even the idea these models have been trending west. This could wind up even farther west. So a lot of uncertainty until this storm actually develops. If you don't have a start point, you can't give us an end point. So we are going to be watching first up where this does develop. I would say it has a very good chance of that. And then we'll try to figure out not only where is this going to go, but the intensity of this storm and the track of this storm will all be figured out over time due to interaction with Humberto. These two are going to make for a very convoluted forecast and setup across the southwestern Atlantic in the upcoming days. Two storms, usually neither of them, they can't both be terribly strong. Usually there's one dominant storm that's likely to be Humberto, and then Imelda, maybe a weaker storm, but still something we have to watch out. Some of the latest computer models are showing that perhaps that becomes even a hurricane itself as we go into the weekend and early next week as that comes northward. So here's a look at one of the computer models we're looking at this morning. This is called the GFS. It's the American model. You can see those yellow-orange dots. Those are representing where those two tropical systems, two separate tropical systems lie. And this puts it Monday evening one far out off the southeastern coastline, and one much closer to us. Once again, this is just one run of the model, but we are seeing similar kind of outcomes with Future Tracker here on the European computer model, also showing those two distinct separate storm systems, and this one with a track also to the north coming up out of the Bahamas and perhaps being an issue for the southeastern coastline. Once again, hasn't developed yet, so we have a long ways to go in this process of trying to figure out what it's going to be and how strong and exactly where it's going to go. But because of the close proximity to the southeast coast, we're talking Monday, Tuesday. If there were to be impacts, this isn't going to be a storm that we're tracking for days and days and days. It would develop this weekend and already have impacts by Monday or Tuesday. So Humberto likely to pass offshore, but we need to watch the possibility of Imelda and that track. Once again, that's the next name up on the list. Humberto already out there, becoming the 8th named storm. Imelda could become the 9th named storm as we go through this weekend. So that is the one so far this year. I would say Imelda, or what will likely be Imelda, is the one that we have to watch more closely than any other storm that we've had out there so far. So we'll keep you updated with the very latest. Once again, too early to tell if we'll see any direct impacts here, but what we know is that at least with the proximity to the southeastern coast, and at least some computer models showing that there's possible impacts along the Carolina coastline as we go into early next week, we do need to watch it very closely. Trust us to keep you updated with the very latest. Computer models are always coming in. Forecasts are always changing. They're never static. They're never just in one place, especially when we're looking at a storm system 4 or 5 days out. We know there will be changes, and we'll bring those to you as soon as we get them. We'll give you that first alert. Download our Live 5 First Alert weather app for updates there, and you can check back here in the alert desk and always on air as well. Have a good day.